Surprisingly, it's once again Tuesday, and I'm going about this week's topic a little differently than everyone else. I don't have a list of favorite songs per se that remind me of people and places and things. Not because I didn't prep for it, but because there's so many songs that kind of trigger those things for me. So I'm going to do genres and artists. And if there's a particular song in specific that pops up, then I'll mention it. But for the most part, it's going to be genres and artists, and I'm going to try to go in chronological order from my childhood to current day. So anytime I hear religious music, whether it's Gregorian chants or praise music or anything to do with Christianity, it always reminds me of growing up and going to church, and mostly my dad. And it's generally not a good thing. They're not good memories. It's not a happy mindset for me to be in. So I try very hard to stay clear of that kind of music, that genre. I'll listen to classical religious music, which about half of classical music is religious based, and that does include things like Gregorian chants, but most religious music I stay away from. Classical music also reminds me of my childhood, but it's a much happier part of my childhood. I was trained in classical flute as a child, and so to me, hearing the music reminds me of that. My outlet. Classical was how I first learned to use music as an outlet, to get away from things or to deal with pain. So classical is very happy and calming for me. As I got older, the genre of music that I listened to started changing dramatically. I started listening to pop and a lot of goth, electronic goth, and that's, anytime I hear that, it reminds me of going to the goth clubs for the first time and learning to be an adult and learning to be outside of expectations. So it reminds me of learning how to be myself. Country music I don't hear very often. I don't care for it for the most part, but it reminds me of my grandfather because he used to always listen to country music in the car when I was real young, and then he switched mostly to religious stations, but that's what country music reminds me of. I also listen to some rockabilly and psychobilly. I got into that mostly because of the Badger, and that's what it reminds me of. Any rockabilly or psychobilly or music like Johnny Cash or Elvis, those all remind me of the Badger. Rap and hip hop I don't get into too much, but there's not really anything that they trigger in me memory wise or people that they remind me of. Music like Florence and the Machine and Mumford & Sons and Pink and Amanda Palmer remind me of who I'm trying to be, and they remind me of my friend Melissa and the friends that I've made through Her War, Her Voice, and Not Alone, and those are all very happy things. So I try to listen to more of that type of music now than I did previously, because they're all happy memories from all that music. And that's pretty much all I've got for you this week. I'm sorry I'm a little less in-depth about it than Jill was, but like I said, it's kind of a big subject for me, and it's very emotional for me, so it's hard for me to get into. But yeah, I will read Eddie tomorrow, and I will see Freda on Thursday.